A massive threat to your silver hiding right inside your home. We're going to have some fun with that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we are experiencing historic moves yet again. Seems like we're saying it every day, doesn't it? In the silver and gold market, we're going to talk about what's happening, why it's happening, and what we can look forward to in the future for the price of precious metals and the precious metal mining stocks. We're going to hear from the silver billionaire, the new Hunt brothers. We're going to talk about a new analyst telling us we could go well over $100 in silver, because you may be hearing we're going to hit 100 and pull back. We'll talk all about that in an unbelievable gold price computation from a major in financial investment firm. Man, there's so much. And then we're going to talk about the big factors that are going to push the precious metals, not just tomorrow, not just next month, next year, but for decades to come. Why we could be in super, super good shape. One thing I know for sure, we're in good shape right now because you're joining me down here in the basement. I hope you feel like you found a new friend, a new home away from home. And it's not just me, it's all the people in the basement dweller community coming together to support the precious metals, to support each other. Please subscribe to the channel. We got that special still running for 2026. It's free to subscribe. Everything here is free. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section so we can learn from you and about you. And most important, thank you for being here. Oh, yeah, super chats. Never expected, always super appreciated. So thank you. And I got a nice $5 donation on PayPal this morning. Really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's get started. Let's go look at the price. Should we start in the United States or should we go to China first? Let's go to China. And let's see how the silver price did in China last night. This comes from the COMEX letter. They're big. 1.2 million. You can see that 1.2 million followers on the X platform alone. This is a big respected account on the X platform, and they tell us that breaking Shanghai silver prices soar to a record $105 per ounce. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second, guys. Make sure we're not having tech issues. Oh boy, hold on. Hold on. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Hopefully we can. Shoot.
I can see the COMEX letter.
You can. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I will be right back and see if we can get this to work. Here we go. Okay. Now we're back. COMEX letter tells us, right, that in China, $105 per ounce, now trading at a massive $13 per ounce premium to the spot price in the United States. I mean, my gosh, $13 premium. I remember when silver was $13 an ounce, period. The physical silver shortage in China is intensifying, and we're getting all kinds of reports from our contacts in China that is indeed the case. There's the price in China. Unbelievable. Here's another report from China, from Macro Liquidity, our friend Sunil. At this time, it was a $12 premium. This is physical stress. The East is bidding for metal, while the West is suppressing with paper. And there you go there. That looks like it's from Bloomberg, but I can't say that for sure. So, guys, we are seeing a complete decoupling. Is that the right way to say it? We talked about this 3 weeks ago. What we're seeing is a decoupling in the physical price in China and the paper price. Who cares about the paper price? What do you think is going to determine the price of silver in the end? It's the physical price that will determine it. And it's happening right now. We're seeing the paper price be drug higher begrudgingly, right, by the physical price and by China. And later on, we're going to talk about some crazy data out of China that explains to us why this is happening and how it is happening. I do want to remind you of one thing. I checked officially before we came on. Okay, today we're sitting at, we're going to go take a look, and then I'm going to share an astounding fact with you about what is happening right now in the world of silver in particular. This is the world spot price, and right now we're up $3.55 above $90 per ounce in silver. I know it pulled back a little bit, of course, right? That's going to happen, guys. It's not just straight up, but we are at $90.62 in the spot price. I want you to look me in the eye because this is a fact. 1 year ago today, we sat down here, we talked, right? We looked at the silver market. The silver price was less than $30 per ounce. It was actually $29.69. So don't make the mistake. Don't let your emotions get involved as you're thinking about whatever investments you may or may not have in silver, in gold, in precious metal mining stocks. This is a crazy emotional time. It's easy to get upset in a good way and a bad way with what's going to be some big volatility coming down the road. Okay. I'm not predicting a big crash or anything like that. I'm just telling you, don't make the mistake of letting your emotions make decisions for you. Anyone who's accumulated big amounts of wealth, and look, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect. I'm just telling you from my experience and what I've read from the gurus who have accumulated big amounts of wealth over their lifetimes, that it's so important to not let emotions rule your decisions. I'm not saying don't make decisions. I'm just saying do them in a strategic, non-emotional way. Okay. What about Bateman? Oh, and then we got this big threat to your silver that we're going to have a lot of fun with. Okay. But what did Bateman, the silver billionaire, the new Hunt brothers, the guy with 13 million plus ounces of silver, say? What did he share with us that I think is definitely speaks volumes? We'll go back to that one. I've skipped one, but we're going to go here first. Bateman said this: silver is ripping faces off, but still maybe only 1 in 100 people have any clue, let alone are making purchases. We are in the early innings. Only one in 10,000 know the monetary system is failing, and precious metals are the life raft. Okay. And that is so true, guys. I'm not trying to stroke your ego or make you feel like you're better or worse than anybody else, but very few people are interested and are educating themselves on what is happening in the overall financial system right now. And I agree with Mr. Bateman. Again, to me, he's the new Hunt brothers. I think he'll go down in history as a significant figure in this unbelievable, epic situation that we have unfolding right now in the precious metals market. And he pointed something out that's critical, and there's a big reason why: the silver and gold life raft. We talk about it all the time. If the financial system were the Titanic, right, and the Titanic started to list to one side, you and I and the other people that understand what's going on are in the very first lifeboat right now, getting off the Titanic. Okay. When everybody else wakes up, it's unfortunately might be a little bit too late. That's when they're going to go to their local coin shop. And I'm hearing that it's almost getting there right now, but they're going to go to their LCS, their local coin shop, to try to buy some silver. And the cases are going to be absolutely empty. Okay. Now, is there a big threat hiding in your home right now to your silver? We're going to get to that next. But first, I want to say thank you to channel sponsor First Mint. They're a silver mint in Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys love them. Thank you every day. Susie is sending me just great feedback from your experience with First Mint. I stopped sending them all to the company, to them, because I felt like I was overwhelming them. And obviously they're very busy now anyway, but they are doing a great job getting world-class silver bullion products in the hands of everyday people like you and me. They're owned by First Majestic Silver, who mines the silver in Mexico, ships it to Las Vegas, Nevada, where then it gets shipped directly to you. Literally, it's from the mine to the mint to you. The COMEX and the LBMA, they're not involved, right? This is the freshest silver on the market. You can learn about them at firstmint.com. I'll pull up their website here, for 2 seconds so you can make sure you go to the right place. They got these beautiful display boxes too. I have a couple of them here at the house, but here it is, firstmint.com. Okay, I don't want to scare you guys, right? We don't want to be sensational. And then this is for fun. We're having some fun here, but there could be a major threat to your silver in your house right now, and you may not even realize, almost I can guarantee you don't realize that it's there. Let's put a smile on our face and look at this one. It's going all around the silver and gold community. Silver Ape King posted this. Here's the timeline. Okay, when silver was $20 an ounce, that spouse of yours, and maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your wife, is saying, this is your silver. What are you doing? What are you thinking? And then, right, at $84, oh, honey, look at our silver. I love it. But then here's the real threat. At $300, they start saying, hey, that's my silver. I absolutely love it. So there could be a threat. You could be living with a threat and not even realize what's going on. I don't know about upstairs Susie. Maybe she'll chime in here and give me some feedback from her perspective, how she feels about all that. And I'm going to go back to this one before I forget. There's a lot of talk. There's a guy named Gali from, I forget which company, maybe TD Securities, who was very bullish on silver back about a year ago. He actually predicted that we could have a squeeze type situation. But then 2 times recently, he had put on big short positions in silver, saying that it was overdone. And Peter Spina shared this one. This is silver breaks past $92 an ounce, right? Triggering TD Securities. So yeah, it is TD Securities. Short covering stop loss limit. Because he had put on a short position, I think back around $75, maybe $85 an ounce again. And we don't ever want to see anybody do this, but obviously that's just a meme. They're not too happy over there at TD Securities right now. What about the U.S. Mint? Have you heard this interesting news coming from the U.S. Mint and what they are doing right now because of these unprecedented times in the silver market? Breaking news from the international stacker. Hold on here. That's not, now it'll work. There you go. Now you're on the right page. From the international stacker, breaking: the United States Mint suspends all sales of numismatic products. No more sales until they know how much to raise the prices. Buckle up. This is going to get a lot crazier. This was an email a subscriber received. And again, this is from International Stacker. I think it's a YouTube channel. You might want to check them out. But basically, this is from the U.S. Mint, and it says, to maintain transparency and a positive customer experience, we are reaching out to share an important update. Due to metals cost, pricing adjustments are being evaluated across all numismatic products. In addition, rapidly rising silver prices may result in silver numismatic products being temporarily removed from sale while pricing is updated. We're working expeditiously, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they're basically saying, we don't know what to do right now. So we're going to pull some things off the market because these are unprecedented times in the world of silver and gold. And speaking of that, let's do a quick review of just 4 of the big names and the big names and the big financial companies and what they're telling us about precious metals right now. Because guys, it's happening with China. It's happening on the retail side, but it's also happening with the big financial service companies. Remember this, Bank of America recently floated the idea of silver reaching $309 per ounce. That was reported, I believe, even on Kitco last week. Morgan Stanley's chief investment officer is talking about this new allocation of assets that includes up to 20% in precious metals. Okay, that's Morgan Stanley. Bank of America. Bank of America's Michael Hartnett had said something about 25% allocation. And Jeffrey Gundlach, the new bond king, right? The guy that is just super respected in the overall traditional finance, right? The normal conservative world of finance world, media, told us that he's talking about 25% in metals is not like overstated. So remember, this is happening on many, many levels, but it's also happening with big names and big companies. Ray Dalio. I mean, the list goes on and on. David Bateman, the new Hunt brothers, right? Everybody is waking up to the need to protect yourselves with precious metals. All right. And just so we don't lose track, we love to look at this data point. Do you know how many ounces of paper silver were traded yesterday? Despite the fact that the price continues to go up, those nice people who like to adjust the price on the COMEX had quite a day yesterday. We'll go to this quickly. From the dude, the silver market traded only 948 million paper ounces yesterday. Easily 20. Hold on. Share screen. We'll go back to this. All right. Hold on, guys. Having some tech fun here. All right. Let's go back to, here it is. Now you should be seeing the right screen. Sorry about that. The streaming software screwed up, not me. Silver market traded 948 million paper ounces yesterday. That's a full almost 20 to 25% more than the entire mining sector produces in an entire year. The paper market did that in just one day. To think or to even float the idea that the silver price is not manipulated is I think, almost child's play. Next, we'll go to Rashad, who has been dead on with his predictions lately. He puts this out this morning. While most expect silver to take a big pause around $100, do I believe? ? It's going to make a surprise move higher, faster, and higher than most anticipate. So Rashad has been spot on. Okay. And he continues to think that a move to 100 and even further is likely in the books. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have a crystal ball. I could be wrong. But at this point, with what's happening in the silver market, looking at all the factors involved, guys, we can't really rule anything out. Next, we're going to talk about $39,000 gold. You think that's crazy? What about $184,000 gold? And these numbers come from one of the world's biggest financial services institutions. We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about channel sponsor First Mining Gold. I'm here because of the sponsors. Thank you, First Mining Gold, for sponsoring Ron's Basement. They're a development stage gold company with two.
One of them has a question.
Okay, thank you. I will get to the super chats. Thank you upstairs, Susie. She still never gave us a comment on that, her taking all the silver, even though we don't keep it here at the house. But nonetheless, back to First Mining Gold, two big multi-million ounce projects. Okay, years and years, $100 million plus spent on drilling and developing, determining that there's these millions of ounces in the ground in Canada. Springpole in Ontario, Duparquet in Quebec. Okay, the big mining companies, they need to replenish their pipelines. They also want to grow, and there's also very few big development stage gold projects in favorable jurisdictions. And First Mining Gold has that. You can learn about them at firstmininggold.com. Let's talk about these crazy gold numbers, and then we'll get to the super chats, guys. But we've got a report. This comes from Kitco. Excuse me, Kitco, from our friend Ernest Hoffman, who says $39,000 gold, $184,000 gold per ounce. Gold's true present day value as a reserve currency. In this isn't some, crackpot with a calculator. This came from VanEck. Now, VanEck is a big global investment management firm. They actually have over $180 billion under management. And I'll tell you how they came up with these numbers. Basically, they're talking about if we were to go back to here, I'll read it to you. For most of modern financial history, this was not a hypothetical question, meaning having gold back money. Okay. This is the way it was done for most of modern financial history. They noted that, quote, under the classic gold standard, paper currency was merely a claim check for physical gold in a vault, not unlike those tokenized gold products like Tether is putting out with XAUT. Okay. VanEck, so they analyzed these numbers in purple. By calculating the price of gold, the price gold would need to reach to back today's money supply, we can see just how much paper money has been printed relative to hard assets that once underpinned it all, meaning gold and silver. They divided money liabilities by known sovereign gold reserves in red and green. First, they calculate MO, or the base money. This is physical currency plus bank reserves. They said in a classic bank run, this is the money that people are demanding. So this is the money, the paper money that people have, plus the paper money that people think they have in their bank account that the bank usually almost always doesn't actually have. The second category is M2, which we're all familiar with. That's the broad money measurement. This adds saving deposits and money market funds to the MO. All right, this is where it gets crazy. If gold were to back MO, just the base money, it would need to trade for $39,210 per ounce. If gold were to back the M2, more broad money, right, the measurement that we hear about all the time, it would need to trade at $184,000 per ounce. Okay. Next, guys, we're going to talk about the silver miners, and then probably the biggest factor that affects the future of the gold and silver price, some of the big macro factors that are pretty simple and easy to understand. We're going to talk about those as well. But first, I want to run out here and check on these super chats. Again, super chats are never, ever, ever, oh my gosh, never expected, always appreciated. Thanks for your efforts. That comes from our friend Jay Giggles. I'm sorry, my eyes are bad. Thank you for that super chat. The next one from Michelle Kilmer, $2 super sticker. That's awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Another one from Road Trip Adventure. Ron, I have 300 ounces of silver, half of which was purchased 20 years ago. Thinking of selling half for gold when the gold silver ratio drops, or should I stay with silver? Again, I'm not a financial advisor. A lot of smart people are saying that they plan on doing just that if we get to a gold silver ratio of 30 or 40, and really that's up to you to decide. You can listen to me, listen to other people, but ultimately you can make that decision for yourself. But I love what you're saying, because it's a great reminder. People always asking, like, should I sell my silver? Should I shell my silver? Sell my silver, right? It's great. I love what you're doing, Road Trip, because you're thinking about what you're going to do. I always say, just my personal opinion, I wouldn't want to sell silver for paper or fiat money. If I was going to transfer it into other real assets, I think that's smart, including gold. And an easy way to watch that is that gold to silver ratio. So good job and good luck with that decision. George Lambert. Okay. Thank you, George. I will check out your email. I appreciate the super chat. Don W, $2. Wow. Unbelievable. Thank you, Don, or Dan. If I have that wrong, Dan, I believe. And Bob Brown, silver is like the new plastic. They make everything out of it. That's interesting. And plastic's made out of oil. I've also made the argument that silver is the new oil. It's the energy metal. It's needed for nuclear power plants. It's needed for solar panels. It's needed for everything, right? So that's an interesting concept. But plastic is also made out of oil. So our theories stick together. Thank you, Bob. Man, George. The impending silver squeeze, structural deficits, market dynamics, force majeure risk, Macham GMO subject, the silver book. Okay. Thank you. Okay, guys. Wow. Let's talk about the silver miners and the gold miners, which a lot of people feel like have not kept up with the metals, but a lot of people think are due for an almost slingshot move. Okay, one of two things are going to happen. Either the metal prices are going to come down to reflect this low depressed price in the miners, or what I personally believe and also am very optimistic will happen is that the miners could catch up. But Michael Oliver had something very interesting. This is 1 minute long to say about the mining stocks. Let's pull this up. It was shared by Mark, who edited a part of a clip that he did on from the YouTube channel Living Your Greatness. Hold on here. I'm going to get this on full screen for you with the volume on, and here we go. Michael Oliver, the king himself.
Miners, especially the silver mining component of the gold silver mining sector, is the most depressed. And I think it is the one that could have the most extreme volatility and price gain on the upside in terms of multiple gains. So I'm talking about silver going into a couple hundreds. I think that's going to happen. Well, the silver miners, if you look at GDX right now, the gold mining ETF, it does have some silver miners in it, by the way. But it is well out above its 2011 price high, well out above it. It blew through that a couple months ago, and it levels well above that. Still, the silver miners ETF is still below its 2011 high. You touch 90 one more time, and the guys who've been selling that old 2011 high at $90 rounded off are going to finally realize, oh, this ain't working. And I think the silver miners could go berserk, just like silver does, and outpace the gold miners. And again, I think a lot of that could occur in a couple quarters.
Oh, I'm muted. Oh my gosh. We'll see what happens with the gold mining stocks. Okay, I'll start over again. Not at the very beginning, but after that video. Michael Oliver, the king, get ready for big things in the world of the precious metal mining stocks. I'm optimistic that that will be the case. I mean, my gosh, guys, even at, let's say, I don't like to say this word, but even at $60 silver, the silver miners, for instance, are printing money. Think about this. If a silver mining company is producing silver for $20 an ounce and the price is $30 an ounce, they're making $10 per ounce profit. If the silver mining company still is producing silver at $20 an ounce and the price is 60, we all know that it's 90 today, but still, for example purposes, 60, they're not making, their costs don't go up by any measure compared to the price that they're selling the silver for. They go from making $10 an ounce to $40 an ounce. It's absolutely crazy. Now, I am going to get to the super chat at the end, but before I do that, one of the biggest factors, two big factors that are going to impact, right? We just don't want to look one day at a time. We want to look one decade at a time. And when we look out over the next decade, I think there's two macro factors, one China specific, one worldwide, that are happening right now, and they're easy to understand, but there's a big reason why we want to pay attention to these, because these are the major paradigm that are going to be factors pushing the silver and gold price into the next years. The first one has to do with China. Let's go out to the Silver Academy to get this. And they've got a big headline: brace for the mother of all short squeezes. China is buying real metal while Western banks are trapped in 4.4 billion ounces of paper lies. This is fascinating to think about. And I'm hearing this from many sources that China is actually doing QE right now. And he says, fact one, China will inject 1.4 trillion into the market next week. That would be this week, okay? Yes, the same week where the Bloomberg Commodity Index rebalancing was supposed to crash silver, but I digress. They finally started QE and turned on the money printer. So China is printing money like crazy. But wait, there's more. Two more big factors we need to consider with this, because printed money is always good for the silver and gold price. But look at these numbers. China's $48 trillion shock. China's M2 money supply, like we just talked about earlier, has now blasted past 45 to 48 trillion in US dollar terms, the highest on record in more than double the US M2 money stock. This is not a stimulus tweak, it's a full-blown monetary event. Now, what's interesting, though, and what we have to remember is China is printing money, but what are they doing with a lot of that money? They're buying real assets. They're buying things like copper. They're buying things like gold. They're buying things like silver. They are printing money like nobody else in the world. I mean, you got to hand it to them. It's pretty smart. Wouldn't you like to do it? I know I would. I wish I could print money and buy silver or buy gold. And that's exactly what China is doing. What some people are now saying is the world's largest economy, but at minimum, the world's second largest economy. They're doing that. But wait, there's more, right? Because at the same time in green, yet widely discussed market estimates now put just two Western banks, Bank of America and Citi, at a combined 4.4 billion ounces of silver short exposure. Do you know how big this is? For silver, we'll focus in on silver. The Chinese are printing record amount. They're printing money out of nothing. Got to hand it to them. I wonder who they learned that from. Hold on a minute. I have an idea. 2 days in a row. They learned it from this guy, okay? Yeah, he loves printing money. Anyway, China is printing money out of thin air, and they're using that printed money to buy this, right? Here's a 1 ounce silver round from channel sponsor First Mint. I wonder if they're China's a customer of First Mint. Okay, they're printing money, buying this, okay? Smart, right? And at the same time, in the West, what are they doing? We're printing money, but we're not buying silver and gold. I don't know what they're wasting it on. You know, there's all this talk of government waste, but to make it even crazier, in the West, our big financial institutions have sold short all this metal. Citi and whoever else it was, bank, whatever, 4.4 billion ounces. That guy from London, the super smart guy was something today. That's 5 years of global mine input that we've sold short. So I'll say it one more time because this is critical. While the Chinese are printing money, buying real assets in the West, right, our leaders are printing money, wasting it, right, and our big financial institutions have shorted the silver market. It's crazy, okay? That is going to continue to be a big supportive factor. But now, the big geopolitical factor that we need to remember, and this is critical, and this is real easy to understand. Take a big step back and look at the world right now. I got to read this because I got a whole list. The world is on a scramble for resources in general. All right. Why? Okay. Because we have geopolitical chaos right now in the world like no other time in your or mine life. Okay. You're probably around, I'm 55, right? Even if you're 75, 85, whatever, 35, think about everything going on with Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Israel, the Middle East, the situation with Greenland, where we're going to take over Greenland. What happened with Venezuela? What's going on even some of these South American countries, Colombia? What's going on with China and Taiwan? And there's more and more and more. That's just part of it, right? The world is geopolitically not getting along right now, okay? And there's a reason why this relates to gold and silver. Don't you worry. But wait, there's even more. Again, because we've got to consider that while all this geopolitical tension's going on, we are also in the middle of financial, chaos. There's geopolitical chaos, but there's worldwide financial chaos. All the rules are being rewritten, but even more importantly, okay, and one of the biggest reasons we know this is the case is because there are debt levels around the world like the world has never seen before. Remember what the guys at VanEck said? That if we wanted to back all the world's M2 money supply with gold, it would cost like $186,000 per ounce gold. I wonder what would the silver price be at 186 at a 30-to-1 gold to silver ratio. What would that be? $6,000 gold? Hey, anything's possible. I still say in my lifetime, we could have silver to infinity, right? Because anyway, I digress. Let's go back. Major geopolitical chaos in the world. And at the same time, major what we can call financial chaos, a world that is trapped in a debt spiral. Okay. Where do people go? There's this asset class that's been around for like 4,000 years, right? Precious metals. That's where they go. That's the safe harbor, right? It's worked, right? Remember, gold and silver, right? They're showing up at the boxing match and they're like getting ready to duke it out with the fiat currencies. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've been in the same fight before over the last 4,000 years, and we have a perfect record. We win every single time. Okay. So when you think about that life raft that we thought about earlier, that Bateman talked about, right? If you think of the Titanic, even as the world, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but it's just the reality how I see it. You're free to see it however you like, that the world financial system, the world geopolitically is like the Titanic, starting to show some troubles, that we are on the first lifeboat on the Titanic. Let me go out and see. We got more super chats. Hold on a second here, guys. I'm going to try. It's easier for me to read them here on my computer. Okay, David Knight, silver miners barely moving. Are you expecting a big explosion in price once the quarterly figures come out? The silver miners are going to report unbelievable earnings. Okay, that's based on the fourth quarter. And the reason why, even if you're not invested in the silver miners, this is very important to understand, is because when the investing world sees what the gold and silver mining companies, the cash that they are generating, okay, that's going to bring more attention to the overall silver and gold ecosystem, the physical metals and the mining sector. So it's going to be good for everybody. What's even crazier with silver is to consider how much money these silver mining companies are making right now with silver prices at $80, $70, $80, $90 per ounce. I haven't looked. Let's go look at the silver price and let's see kind of what the silver price was in the fourth quarter. Hold on here. I'm going to share this. Okay. Wow. Look at that. Crazy. Hold on a minute here, guys. Am I sharing the right screen? And yes, I am. This is the on CNBC, the silver's futures market. Hold on, get back up there. There it is right there. The March contract. Man, look at this. Doesn't this look strange to you? This behavior, this behavior that occurred right here in the last couple hours. I've looked at these charts for you. I mean, there's a lot of like up and down, up and down, up and down, crazy behavior there. That's not why we're out here. We'll look just over the last 3 months, okay, which will bring us back to October 14th. So from October 4th, yeah, we were at like $50 silver, $50 silver. We got the 60 on the first. So we really didn't have $60 silver till December. And then from December, during the month of December, we rose from about 60 up to 70. So the even crazier thing to think about with these mining stocks, and just for kicks and giggles, since we're here, there's a 1-year chart of silver. Isn't that beautiful? That's not a super spike. Again, guys, and then we'll get back to these mining stocks, but this is not a super spike, right? This area in here is a little spiky, but what this is a squeeze, a long drawn out squeeze, not this, where we had a big spike up and then a big pullback. But what's even more interesting about the silver mining stocks, again, will be how the price holds up throughout this first quarter, because we're going to see shocking numbers from Q4, which will shock the overall market. But what happens in Q1, which will be January, February, and March, has the potential, look, we're only 2 weeks into January, to be even more shocking. All right, let me move down here. Thank you for that question, David night. What do you think silver will be at in 2007, 2028, and 2029? I think that generally during those time periods, we're either going to have silver at around $120 per ounce, or we're going to have silver at, let's say, 200, 300, 400 range is what I would say out that way. I would say that I'll give you my breakdown. I think there's about a 30 to 40% chance that we have silver in the 120, 130, 50 range over that 3-year period. I think there's about a third of a chance that we get silver much higher, like numbers that seem unreal to us at this point. I do want to also recognize that there's always that possibility that they pull some kind of rabbit out of their hat, and that maybe we get silver. I just would be shocked. I would be shocked. I would almost eat crow live on a live stream if we get to a point where we see silver get below $60 again, 60 US dollars during my lifetime. I think that the silver price has been reset. And I mean, at this point, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but even if silver got down to $60 an ounce again, I think I'd be willing to make some pretty major, to back the truck up, as they like to say. So thank you, Jordan, for that question. And thank you for the super chat, Schmengel. Wow. Oh my gosh. I started stacking 2 years ago. I was ahead of the sheep. Yeah, the sheep. That we like to refer to those other 98% of people out there that David Bateman talks about that don't know what's going on. We like to, sheep warning, we like to refer to them as the sheeple, right? The herd. And when the herd comes, baby, we're going to be in good shape. And oh my gosh, hi, yo, silver. Thank you. Debbie's, wow, that's very generous. Thank you. Debbie's 6192. All right, guys. I think everything points to a bright future. I super appreciate all 2,000 of you joining us live. Yeah, hold on. Upstairs Susie wants to say something. For those of you who are new, this is my wife, Upstairs Susie. She communicates via walkie-talkie. Susie, did you have something you wanted to say? Over.
I can't find it right now, but it was, should they sell some silver for gold when it gets to a ratio of 30 to 1?
Yes. Yep. Okay, thank you, Susie. Yeah, again, right? And I wouldn't knock anybody for doing that. If silver gets to a 30 to 1 ratio, what would that be? I mean, what would 30 to 1 be silver price right now? That would be, what, about $150 per ounce. Converting some from silver to gold, I would not argue that would be a bad idea. I would say that would be a smart idea. I don't know that I'll do it. I've never traded or converted. I've given away a lot of silver over the years, but never traded or converted. All right, guys, between the silver billionaire, what he's telling us, that threat to silver, you need to keep out. Remember, please remain calm emotionally. Make any decisions you make based on logic and strategy. We've got crazy things going on on a micro level right now that are supportive for the silver price. But as we discussed, on a big macro level, geopolitically in the world, but also on a financial system, on a geopolitical level, things are supportive in the future, I think, for a decade to come for the precious metals price. We are in a new arena. We are in a new weather pattern. We are in a new paradigm when it comes to the precious metals. Okay. For those of you who are new, welcome. For those of you who've been around a long time, congratulations. Some of you have been at this for decades, like I have, waiting for this day to come. I don't think we're ever going back. I don't think we're going back to the what was really a difficult period of time. It was like a walk through the desert. It was like the valley of despair for people in the precious metals. Bye-bye to that. Let's look forward to great days ahead to come. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Okay. Leave a comment in the comment section. Most important, I want to say thank you on behalf of myself and the lovely and talented Upstairs Susie. You guys are the best. Okay. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you, yes, you, next time.